From the station that's on your side, you're watching Channel 2's Daybreak.
Good morning. It's coming up on 6:30. I'm Lauren Hall. Heather Lee has the day off today. Here's what's straight ahead on Daybreak. The Pope is looking for a new bishop for Buffalo, where things stand for the diocese in the midst of major change. Plus, it's one of the biggest Bills home games in years. Hear what they're saying about their big matchup against the Ravens on Sunday. And later, a local high school band is marching straight to the Aloha State. We had a chance to talk to them before they left for a huge honor in Hawaii. All of those stories straight ahead, but first, your Storm Team 2 forecast with meteorologist Patrick Hammer. Patrick, I visited those students in Lancaster back in June, and we were saying, oh, doesn't Hawaii in December sound pretty nice? And here we are, and boy, does that sound pretty nice. Patrick, thank you. This morning, the Buffalo Catholic Diocese is searching for a new bishop. Bishop Richard Malone announced his resignation yesterday, and Albany Bishop Edward Scharfenberger has been named apostolic minister for the time being. Malone was heavily scrutinized for his handling of sexual abuse allegations involving the clergy. Yesterday at a press conference, we asked Bishop Scharfenberger about the possible role that Malone could still play in the church moving forward.
That's a really tough question. I think Bishop, he made a prudent decision to withdraw as he did at the time that he did. And I don't know that his being present is the same thing as being present as a healer, given the fact that he has himself recognized that that was not something that he thought he could do effectively. I would support that decision.
Scharfenberger said he spoke with Malone while they were both in Rome recently, but he has not had any other conversations with him since. And one of the other big questions about the future of the diocese is its financial situation. Before Malone resigned, there were already talks about bankruptcy, and we wanted to know what Bishop Scharfenberger had to say about that. Daybreak's Heather Lee joins us this morning with that part of the story. Good morning, Heather. Thank you, Heather. We have much more coverage on the resignation of Bishop Malone and the future of the diocese. You can always find the latest on WGRZ.com. It's 6:39 now. In other news this morning, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul will host a Lieutenant Governor's nationwide meeting right here in Western New York. The annual meeting will take place in July of 2020. Hochul says it's expected to have an economic impact of $400,000 for the region. Now to that building collapse we followed for you all day yesterday. It's on Ellicott Street between Chippewa and Tupper, which remains closed this morning. Engineers were called for an emergency demolition of the building because they were worried that the rest of the roof could slide off entirely. The building was condemned back in August after a partial collapse. Fortunately, no one was hurt. We are just days away now from one of the biggest games ever at New Era Field. The 9-3 Bills are taking on the Baltimore Ravens, who are 10-2. The Bills are coming off 3 straight wins and are third in the AFC East right now, behind the Ravens and the Patriots. Looking ahead already to next week, that Steelers game was flexed to Sunday Night Football, and head coach Sean McDermott says that despite all this hype from outside the building, what's happening internally remains the same.
Everyone understands their role. We may not be fancy, but we believe in what we do. And I think the guys, when you do that and you give them great clarity, there's a lot of power in that.
Well, the Ravens are coming in on an 8-game win streak with the top scoring offense in the NFL. Quite an opponent coming our way. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock this Sunday at New Era Field. Something else to look forward to, New Year's Eve celebrations happening throughout Western New York in just a couple weeks here. And we now know a lot more about the big party to ring in 2020 at the Buffalo Convention Center. First Night Buffalo is returning for its 31st year with family-friendly options. They'll have things like bounce houses, carnival rides, and even a dance party. Western New York's viral sensation, the Singing Cops, will also be there. And something special this year, kids at Oshai Children's Hospital will be included in the fun.
First Night team is bringing some of these incredible activities to the hospital for those kids that will be hospitalized on New Year's Eve so that they can join in and have safe fun with their family and get a little respite from what's happening in their life.
Nickel City Reptiles and Exotics will also be at the party. You can buy tickets right now at firstnightbuffalo.org. Well, coming up next hour on Daybreak, after tense NATO meetings in London, President Trump returned to Washington as the deadline approaches for him to decide whether he will participate in impeachment hearings. plus how Peloton is now responding to the major backlash over its latest holiday ad. And we'll get a look inside the country's very first mega mall. Can't wait to see that. We'll be right back.
From the station that's on your side, you're watching Channel 2's Daybreak.
Good morning. It's coming up on 6:30. I'm Lauren Hall. Heather Lee has the morning off. Here's what's ahead this half hour for you on Daybreak. The Pope is looking for a new bishop for Buffalo, where things stand for the diocese in the midst of major change. Plus, it's one of the biggest Bills home games in years. Hear what they're saying about their Sunday's matchup against the Ravens. And later, a local high school band is heading to the Aloha State. And we had a chance to catch up with them before they left for a huge honor in Hawaii. All those stories are coming your way in just a few minutes here, but we're going to start with Storm Team 2's meteorologist, Patrick Hammer. And Hawaii sounds pretty nice right now, Patrick.